Matt Kelly, Matty Riser, Wrestle Matts, your SummerSlam Rewind series here on Wrestle Matts. We got Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, and we're not rewinding it too far, Matty, because this one just took place last year, and it set the show off, in fact, man. You ready for this one?
Dude, this one was amazing, and it's great to go back in time. Like, seems like many moons ago, but we're just going back to 2024, and you've got two of the biggest stars in WWE, and we're getting to kind of see. I don't know if it's the beginning of their feud, but it seems like it's been forever. So great to watch this one. And Dom with Mommy, what? Seems like that's been forever. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, so this is after Rhea had been injured, right? And Liv's trying to seduce Dom into coming over there with her and that sort of thing. And then Rhea makes her comeback. And then we get this match for Rhea trying to get the title that she had never lost in the Women's World Championship. So this one actually starts off this particular SummerSlam. And Maddie, we just did another review this week of Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. And I don't think these two matches could be any more different for all of the reasons. And the first thing you really notice, man, is what SummerSlam has grown to become, because it's in this just massive outdoor stadium, man. So this thing, it's still daylight out, right, when Rhea and Liv make their entrance, but the crowd, dude, it just feels big because they both get these massive pops, this massive reaction for starting out this show and opening up with this world title match.
Dude, everything about this was just, to me, from beginning to end, like the beginning with just the crowd, how hyped they are, how this is kind of like a grudge match in this feud, which has really taken us on this roller coaster the last couple years. But with them saying, basically Rhea was a 379-day champion, I kind of forgot she had the belt that long. And that, there is this backstory with Liv injuring her, like you said, or having to relinquish. And now Liv is really coming into her own right here, as I believe you said she was a face during all this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like it's at a weird point, right, where Rhea is definitely getting the mommy chance. She's getting all of this face reaction. Everybody's basically in on Rhea, but they're out on Dom, right? Dom's this slimy heel that she's hanging around with, and everybody's like, "What? Why do you want to be around Dom?" You know what I mean? And so she's getting all the reactions, and you can kind of feel it coming throughout this match, and you kind of see it really from the crowd's perspective as well at the beginning, because there is no real wrestling going on for a hot minute, basically, because they're just cat and mouse. So Liv is just sliding in and out of the ring, making Rhea chase her around before she can ever get her hands on her.
Well, and as we have this match kind of kicking off, we go from 95, where we have Doc Hendricks and Vince McMahon, to a three-man announce crew, which was Corey Graves, Pat McAfee, and Michael Cole. And seeing this, I thought it was as the match went, it was better. But I felt like at the beginning, it was like Graves and Pat McAfee were like talking over each other a little bit. It was just like, I almost don't think you need those two personalities together. Now I can kind of see why they moved Graves to NXT for a while, because it's just too much of the same with these two. Cole was barely getting any words in at the beginning of this. Obviously, he delivered. The whole announce team delivered by the end of it. But what do you think of maybe the three-man announce team they had here?
I don't think it works. I don't think it works, not just in this particular scenario, but almost in any other three-man booth history. For the most part, you can go back and you ask, who are the great duos of announcing over time. It's almost always a two-person booth. Almost always. You just don't remember a three-person booth. And to your point, this, Graves' personality, McAfee's personality, it's just a lot from one booth, man. It's just a lot from one booth, and you kind of get that here. But for me personally, it doesn't really take away from what's going on in the ring by the time Rhea and Liv get their hands on each other. And we talked about it on this particular week's podcast as we reviewed Evolution. Rhea and Liv, man, they are at the top of the game, and I don't mean just in the women's division. I mean across the board in wrestling, in terms of bumping their ass off for each other, for making their opponents look outstanding, and you get that every step of the way in this match.
Well, dude, and there wasn't a dull moment. The whole thing, this was entertainment television. We haven't seen a lot of these SummerSlam matches we've watched. We've watched Cena and Bryan, but this was different. This was like, it was condensed, but it told such a story with, Rhea coming back from the shoulders injury and just the Dom effect and everything. And you have just the power of Rhea Ripley and just her character work, like everything about it, from, like you said, the cat and mouse with Liv. Liv is just egging her on. It's perfect. And then when Rhea finally gets her hands on her, and she's just dominating with these powerful moves, and Liv's taking it. Like, Liv can sell her ass off.
Yeah.
And from there, we finally get, Liv kind of working that shoulder a little bit, which tells the story as well.
Well, I think that's exactly where Rhea gets endeared to the crowd, and there's no going back once she does this. You get the injury where Rhea's shoulder pops out of place, and as the match goes on, you got Liv working the shoulder exactly how she should as a heel, right? And then you get Rhea Ripley in this spot, Maddie, where she takes her shoulder, rams it into the announce table, pulls on it, and pops it back into place. You hear the reaction from the announce booth. You hear the reaction from the crowd. Dude, there's no going back. Rhea Ripley is a massive face right then, right there, even before we get to the end of this match, which certainly puts it into a whole nother gear. But, dude, once you see somebody do that and their will to win and the will to get their revenge on somebody like a Liv Morgan, who is trying to take everything that you've had while you've been gone, I mean, it's game over, man. Everybody loves Rhea in that moment.
It was storytelling. Like, that was another innovative spot.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody sell their shoulder. Liv did even a hell of a job, like hitting the code breaker, riptide, all these moves. She really focused on the shoulder, like not just yanking on somebody's shoulder like you see a lot on, or somebody out kicks your knee. Like, she put, I think it was, I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it's a prism, but it looks like the Texas cloverleaf, like all these different,
right.
Yeah, just all these different moves. And I was like, God dang, like, this is a way you attack somebody. But yeah, like you said, once she runs her shoulder it's like a spear into the side of the announce table and pops it back out. I was like, dude, like, that's a memorable moment. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget from like a wrestling match, because it is. And like you said, it endears her to the crowd. Everything is playing perfectly how it should in this match.
Yeah, and you come to a point in the match where Rhea essentially has Liv beat, but we've kind of seen this from Rhea Ripley kind of really over the course of the last year, and that a lot of times the only reason Rhea Ripley loses a match is because of Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? That's why she lost the title to Io Sky. She was kind of taunting for a bit. And then in this match, she goes for the chair when she has Liv Morgan basically beat. She's going to inflict punishment with a chair. She goes, overhead with the chair. Dom gets up on the apron, grabs the chair. And actually in that moment, everybody's like, oh, Dom's doing the smart things. He's saving Rhea from making a mistake, not winning her title, because if she utilizes the chair, she's disqualified. So everybody's like, oh, okay, Dom's still with Rhea. But then as things play out, we see this progress. Dom's able to have some more distractions, slides the chair into place. Liv hits Oblivion, which I think is a very underrated finishing move, by the way. She hits that thing flush into the chair with Rhea Ripley and ends up retaining her Women's World Championship.
Dude, Dom, less is more. Like, he did.
Correct.
You don't have to steal from the match. And he did a great job of kind of staying in your lane till it's time. And I think that's another underestimated aspect of, sometimes you get to SummerSlam, you want to see Rhea versus Liv. Dom can be there, but this is the main course. So I think that was genius. And then Dom knows how to get his heat, brother. And he did a great job of this is how you, like you said, the double turn. It was perfect.
Well, and the other thing that he did, sorry not to leave this out, but somewhere in the middle of the match, Liv goes to dive outside the ring and take out Rhea. Dom shoves Rhea out of the way, and he basically takes a bullet, and gets hit by Liv. And so he's building layers, right, to where you think he's still there with Rhea. Crazy. But as we see after the match ends, you get that smirk from Dom. Then he picks Liv up off the ground. They get the smooch. You get all the things, and you're like, oh man, Dom is just as dirty and as slimy as the day that he turned on his dad, Rey Mysterio.
Crowd, everything.
Flips off the crowd. I mean, and you're like, man, he went from Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan. It was just like, everybody hates this guy. But dude, it ends up setting up one of the best women's feuds that we've ever seen.
Oh, the gift that keeps on giving. Dom, Liv, Rhea, all three of them. Like, you're talking about A+ team players right here.
Yeah. What do you give this? What do you give this match, Matty, on a scale of 1 to 10, buddy?
So real quick before we get that, something that hasn't evolved, the ref cam. Ooh. We're just not there yet.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't work. It didn't work.
You think of that like Madden cam with the helmet, you know, it looks cool. But the ref cam just doesn't work. It's just a weird, you know. We got the drones figured out, everything else.
Yeah, no, they gave it like 1 or 2 tries during the match there, and it just didn't add any. Like I don't know if it was like the placement on the referee or just like the time that they chose to try to cut to it, but it never added anything to the match. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the match, out of all the SummerSlam matches I've seen, this is the best one.
Oh,
this to me had everything. It hooked me the whole match, like the storytelling, the injury, the turn at the end. You know, there weren't a lot of. I mean, we know the history, but to me, I was witnessing like, you know, 2 of the best performers at the top of their game. I mean, that no disservice to The Rock or Stone Cold or it's just funny where we are, like how good women's wrestling is.
Right.
To me, this is a 10. I mean, you could go 10.5. I think this is the best match. Best match I've seen from SummerSlam so far.
All right, so now we both got one in the category of a 10 because I put your John Cena Daniel Bryan match as a 10 just last week, and as I was watching this, I was like, well, where are the holes that I poke, and what are the points that I gave John Cena and Daniel Bryan? And I'm like, okay, was the in-ring action great? Yes, it was great. Did they have the crowd in the palm of their hand the whole time? Yeah. They also complete a double turn. They also progress the feud. What's not to like, man? It's right. 1A, 1B of those 2 matches. I'm right there with you. It's a 10, man. I can't take away from anything that happened in this match. It's just too good. And to your point, you got the moment from Rhea that's going to go down as one of the most memorable moments. You got two stars catapulting themselves, really 3. Yeah. You made Dom the most hated person across WWE by far. You made Liv a top heel. You made Rhea a top babyface, all within the span of less than 20 minutes. Incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for SummerSlam Rewind this week. Again, you can check out Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match as well for the Intercontinental title. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought about these SummerSlam matches at Wrestle Matts.